Hi, my name's Evan. Welcome back to another self-care wellbeing session for all you teachers, carers, community members, parents, any other role out there really that we're looking to support during this tough term that it's been. But hey, we're nearly at an end. We're nearly there, guys. Week 10? Is it week 10? Something like that. Who knows anymore? The weeks, the days just blend into one. It's the end of term anyway. It's the final week. So congratulations. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, wherever you are. We are all on Aboriginal land this morning. I'm on Wurundjeri country, people of the Kulin Nation. Pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. And any Indigenous people here today as well. So we're going to get started today. As I did last time I ran this, if you would like a little or any kind of comfort item, where we might do a little bit of silent kind of reflection at the end. So if you like something to sit down on, if you want to get a chair or a pillow or a yoga mat or whatever makes you feel comfortable, please do so. You can also grab it at the end. There's no rush to do it right this second. But yeah, we're going to maybe do just a couple of minutes of silence towards the end. So whatever is going to help you feel comfortable in that mode. Great, we will get started. So I'm going to find a little bit of space. I'm just going to start by loosening out my shoulders. Make sure everything's feeling a bit floppy, a bit loose. As I often say to kids, it's not about feeling like lazy and unmotivated. It's just trying to shake a little bit of, get rid of a little bit of tension in your body. So when you've done that, let's bring our feet together and our hands by our side. And we're going to start with 3 nice big deep breaths, which we're going to match with the hands. So we're going to breathe in, bring the hands up above the head. And as we turn our palms down, we're going to start to breathe out and slowly let those hands almost float down as if they're floating through the water. Nice work. And one more, breathing in, all the way up and all the way down. Nice and slow. Feel some of those muscles releasing. Feel yourself arriving for this session this morning. Last one, breathing in and breathing out. Excellent, great. So let's go through the code. So this is the code that we do with kids every single session that we work with them. There are 4 parts, so join along if you've never done this before. It's going to seem a bit funny, but just give it a go. So we're going to bring up our left arm, point towards your muscles, and then repeat after me, be strong. Great, hand over your heart, be calm. Hand out in front of you, be kind. Make a fist, and then pull it back and try hard. Great, excellent. So those are the 4 qualities or the 4 parts of our code that we work with when we work with young people. And I think they apply just as well to everyone else. Be calm, be kind, try hard. All of those qualities are exactly what you're going to need for this last week of term, right, to make it through. So let's channel some of those things today. But I thought we'd start with a little bit of, get a little bit of warmth and movement in our body. So we're just going to actually start, I'm just bouncing on the balls of my feet. So my heels are elevated off the floor a little bit, and I'm just starting to get a little bit of movement. My arms are nice and floppy, so I'm not holding on to any tension as I do this. See if you can just use the minimum amount of muscles that you have to keep yourself upright. And you might start to go kind of maybe from side to side as well, add in a little bit of motion. Just leave everything nice and floppy. You can transfer the weight. Now, if you've got dodgy knees at all, this is one where you might want to stay a bit more straight rather than lateral. Might want to not put too much pressure on the sides of your knees, but just do what you can do. Today is all about you managing your own body and being in control of that. So now I'm going to put one leg forward. So I'm still moving on the balls of my feet, and I'm still kind of just bouncing up and down. What we're going to do now is a little bit of shadow boxing, right? And if you've never done any boxing, you've never thrown a punch in your life, that is totally fine. What it's really all about today is just giving it a go, giving yourself permission to have a little bit of fun and use your body in maybe a new and a different way. So I'm going to bring my hands up, standard boxer pose. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, well, this is my left hand, but it's probably the right hand on the screen. Coming straight out and straight back to that position. And then I'm going to start with the other hand, straight out and straight back. And I just keep moving. So now you can actually lessen off the bouncing quality and just start to move forward and back between your legs. And whenever you like, just flick out those hands, flick them back. You can stay straight on like this if you feel comfortable. Just have some fun. Maybe even start moving your head, you know, pretending to be that boxer you always wanted to try and imitate. Maybe even move a little bit of angles now, so you can change sides. Really, I actually just want you to figure out what feels good for you just for this next 60 seconds. Just get some movement into the body, change legs if you like, be nice and fluid. There's no pressure to look like anything. All of us are going to look a little bit silly at the end of the day. So let's all do it together. Great. So just keep moving. Keep that head moving. Just keep those hands going straight out. Left, right, right, left, whatever feels good for you. Great. Okay, and bring those arms down and coming back to a bit of a stillness, a bit of a stop. And just having a moment to see how that feels in your body. Did it feel horrible? Did it feel really awkward and really stiff? Maybe, and that's okay, right? Maybe it felt kind of good. Maybe it felt a bit liberating to throw some punches out there. For a lot of us, right, you know, just the action of throwing a punch could maybe even feel a little bit confronting. And that's okay. Just notice that whatever feelings that brings up for you and take it as it is. So we don't have to do anything. We don't have to change anything about that. But it's interesting to observe what movement can bring up for us. So now we're going to start with some gentle kind of breathing and body work stuff. So I'll get you to bring your feet shoulder width apart. So right underneath your hips. Little bend in your knees, lengthening up through the spine. So nice straight back. Bring your shoulders back, but try not to kind of arch your chest forward. We want to have that nice relaxed posture. So your shoulders are above your hips are above your knees, and your knees are above your ankles. So everything stacked down on top of each other. Good, find a little bit of space in your armpits. So spreading your arms away from your body a little bit. Great. And from here, we're going to start with a nice big deep breath in. We're going to bring the hands up in front of us, almost like our fingertips are tracing the line of our body. Breathing in, keep breathing in. I'm going to move back so you can see my arms. And as I get up to here, I'm going to turn my hands over as if I'm holding up the roof. So pushing out as we breathe out. And again, there's no expectation that you breathe in any particular way with these things. And we're going to go out to the side and all the way down. Just breathe normally and naturally, however comes to you in the moment. Generally, it feels nice to start with the breath in, so I'm going to breathe in as I come up and breathing out as I stretch, and then really reach and lengthen through my whole arm, keeping that little bend in the knees. And I'm breathing in, and then I'm breathing out again as I come down to the side. So in contrast to what we were just doing, this is a big shift. We're now trying to move as slow and as intentionally and as calmly as we can. You might even imagine pushing something, if that helps, holding something up above your head and then letting it go. And arms out to the side. Good. So join me for this one more because we're going to do something different at the top here. So we're going to breathe in as we did before. Good. And as we reach the top, we're going to pause there for just a moment. And then we're just going to turn our body. So we're just rotating from the waist round to the side. Great. And then back to the middle. So just the waist moving, the hips, the knees should all be fairly locked in place. So twisting to the other side. And back to the middle. Good. And then when we release the arms. And we'll do that a couple more times. Let's not rush to get there though. So in your own time, if you want to go a little bit faster, that's totally fine. Or if you want to go a little bit slower than me, that is also totally fine. Breathing in, turning the hands over, reaching up for a moment. And then turning from the waist. Back to the middle. Turning again around the other side. And release. And one more time. This is really good for the thoracic mobility of your spine, which is the upper back. These kind of movements that come from the waist, where we're separating the movement of our lower and upper body. This is often where people get really tight, especially spending a lot of time on the computer, as we all are at the moment, in our home offices. It's a really important area to pay some attention to during your week. Good. And meeting all down in this relaxed position, arms down. Great. Maybe take a deep breath in and relax it all out. Feel those shoulders sink into place. Good. So from here, we're just going to go head to toe through a quick joint mobility. It's a really good place to start if you're ever wondering, what to do beyond these sessions. I recommend this as an amazing place to start. If you've never done any martial arts, any yoga, any Tai Chi or anything before, this is the best place to start. Is just think about head to toe, what are the major joints, and go through them and just give them some circles. Joints love circles. So we're going to start with the chin side to side. So just the neck. No shoulder movement, no hip movement. Just turning your chin and your head from side to side. Good. Up and down. Great. And place one ear to one shoulder. Be a bit careful with this one. So this can be a bit pinchy for some people. And then with the opposite hand to the way that your head is leaning, we're going to stretch away. And hopefully you should feel a nice stretch down the side of your neck and even parts of your shoulder here. Again, another area of tension when we're working on the computer all day. And if you feel good there, you can actually even add a few circles with your chin here. Nice, easy, rolling all the way around. As I said, joints love circles. Any kind of circular, even rhythmic, sometimes motion is often a good thing to start if you have no idea. And we'll come back to the middle, shake off that arm. And then when you're ready, other ear to other shoulder. Stretch away with the fingertips. And when that feels comfortable, you can start making some circles with the chin. Great. And release and head back to the middle. So interlace your fingers here and grab onto both of your hands. No need to grab too hard, just a nice relaxed grip. And we're going to start rolling through the wrists, right? So this exercise is for our wrists. So we're moving. That's it. One wrist coming up and then alternating. We're trying to make the motion as fluid as you can. Oh, some technical thing going on. We'll ignore that, as long as you can still hear me. Great. So just, you might increase the rhythm a little bit, the way that you're going. You might want to slow it down and really pay attention to each movement, up to you. As I said, these sessions are all about managing your own body and where you're at. So now we're going to change directions. So you're bringing it back towards you. So just keeping that loose grip between the fingers and now bringing it all the way back and around. Don't worry if you find this one confusing. It can be quite challenging for some people. But the aim is just to try and keep those wrists moving. As long as you're doing that, you're getting the general idea. Great. So join me now in stretching and extending those hands away from you. You might even kind of add the shoulders and really start to stretch into this one. Pull the shoulder blades apart at the back. Great. And then release and coming back up. And let's start with some nice big movements of the shoulders. So the arms all the way up and over. Again, circular motions. Joints are happy. We're happy. Everyone's happy. And forwards. Just cast your mind back to your posture now. Has any bad habits, straight knees, bent shoulder, rounded shoulder, any of those things crept back in that you might need to adjust? Always a good idea to go back and give it a quick check. All right, hands on hips. Some nice big hip circles all the way around. Good. Change directions. Excellent, nice work. Okay, so a little bit of a balance challenge here. If you have problems with that, that's totally fine. Actually, even just use this as a time to practice. So I'm gonna pull up one leg and holding onto the knee, I'm gonna pull that knee up in towards my chest. If this is challenging for you and that's challenging enough, that's great, right? If you need a little wall or a prop or something to kind of assist you while you do it, then do that as well. But if you can, just holding that leg in, once you get that balance, then we're just gonna turn the toe. Again, don't worry about this if you're struggling with the balance. Just focus on getting that balance. But if you can, start to turn that toe in a nice big lazy circle. And then change directions. Nice. Release back to the floor. And the other side. So getting your balance first and foremost. Holding the leg in. And once you've got that position, then nice big ankle circles. Change directions. Great, and release. And again, give your body another shake, loosen it out. See how that all feels now you've given it some time and some attention. Awesome, so we're gonna get started with a little Qigong drill here. This is something I've been teaching to some of the kids online this term, and they love it. And I think, you know, actually generally, as much as we would like to think we're much more advanced than our than our pupils, than our kids, actually generally what they like is also something that is a good indicator of what we may be into as well. So I'm going to give this a go with you guys. Have some fun with it. This is called the life cycle of a tree. So we are going to start feet shoulder width apart, but we're going to come down. If you can come down into a full squat, that's great. You can start there. If you can't, all you're going to do is make yourself as small as possible. So this is our seed position, the starting position. So you might just like to come into a forward fold, or you might like to bend your knees a little bit there and come down. Really, it's up to you and your mobility and your body, but making yourself as small and as seed-like as possible. So whatever that is to you, okay? So starting down all the way in your seed, and then what we're gonna do is, as the first rays of spring start to lighten us up, we're gonna start to unwind. So I'm starting with bringing my hips up, and very slowly, this is all done very slowly, we're unfurling the body. Arms are nice and slow. The head and the eyes finally come up, and then the hands and the arms start to move. And this is like the first spring for a young tree, right? So the hands come up. We don't get all the way, we don't reach our full height, just to head height, and then we start to spread out. And just as we did in that kind of movement with the first one, the arms are now coming back down. And winter comes around, the tree returns back, not to the full seed state, but to a lessening off, right? So coming back down, just hanging forwards if that feels comfortable. You can go all the way back to your squat if you like. But now I'm just going to start very slowly to return upwards. Feels good generally to breathe in here. And then breathe out now. My arms are going to reach their full height, so I'm stretching up. Bring your hands together so my hands are in this position, up above my head. And stretching up, you might even come up on your tippy toes if that balance is available to you. And here, we're going to sway in the breeze over to one side. Very good. Back to the middle. And then catching the breeze, the other side. Try and keep that balance on those tippy toes. This can be really challenging if you're all the way up. Good, and then releasing the arms out to the side. And all the way back down. And the good thing about trees is that the life cycle begins again. The seed, we come back to our seed position. Relaxing down, making yourself as small as possible for the winter. And then as we start to unfold, we're coming slowly, bringing ourselves back to life. Bringing those hands up, just to head height. Remember for this first one, out to the side, nice and slowly and mindful. Good, and one more. Breathing in, start to raise up onto your toes if you're planning on doing that. Bring the hands together at the top. Little moment here, stretch up. Stretch through every tendon and muscle of your body. Reach for the sun at the top of the canopy. And stretching over to one side. Swaying in that breeze, good. Back to the middle. And over to the other side. Back to the middle. And release the hands. Down. Good. Let's do one more whole life cycle. It's nice to do things in sets of 3, I find. So coming down, and we have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So coming down to whatever your seed position is, as small as possible. And then with your breath, starting to unfold, rolling that spine vertebrae by vertebrae, so nice and slow. Shoulders come up, head comes up, and then we start to move the arms. Just to head height. And again, breathing in. This time all the way up. Place the hands together, up on your tippy toes. And swaying in the breeze. And release the hands down to the outside. Coming back to the floor with your feet, little bend in the knees, and let's just pause here for a moment. So that's a really great little easy kind of breathing and body exercise. I encourage you to teach it to maybe the kids that you work with, especially little kids love this one, right? Being a tree, swaying in the breeze, all that imagery is great for the young ones and for us too. It's a really nice little, you know, if you do that 3 times, it's probably a 5-minute break as you get up from your desk and move around. There's these really simple ways to have a little break and use our bodies in ways that make them feel good. So we're just going to finish with our couple of minutes of silence today. And I encourage you maybe to do some reflection on this term, perhaps. What it's been like. You know, there's some big emotions, some big feelings probably that have come up for a lot of people during this time. I know it's been a roller coaster for myself, so I can only imagine that everybody else is feeling some version of that. So give yourself permission to just be present with those feelings, right? We're at the potentially the end, maybe not quite, unfortunately, but for now, you know, this term is what it was and we can put that to rest. So I'm just going to stand. I'm just going to bring my hands to my tummy, but as I said before, please feel free to find a seat, lie down, whatever is going to make you the most comfortable for the next minute and a half. Okay, so closing your eyes down if you feel comfortable, or at least relaxing your eyes. Relaxing your jaw, the muscles of your face, your shoulders, your neck, your hips, your legs, even your feet, sinking everything into the ground a bit more. Especially if you're seated or lying down, try to feel the parts of your body that are connecting with the floor and relax each of those intentionally one at a time. Nice slow breathing. Great. And if you're ready to end this today, you can join us now. If you want to keep going, just switch the video off. So thank you all very much for joining us for the final week of term, for our final session today. Wherever you are throughout the week or throughout the school holidays, I hope you are having a lovely time and that this sets you up for a good week, a good day. It's been a pleasure to take you through this term, and I know from all the other instructors as well. Thanks very much for coming and engaging with this content, guys. All the best, and see you next term maybe. Bye for now.